What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be comparing two of the top selling compact SUVs on the market. Next to me here, I have a 2024 Subaru Crosstrek Limited, which is their top trim level for the Crosstrek, as well as a 2024 Chevy Equinox Premier, which is their top trim level. Now, these two models are pretty close on price. The Crosstrek here is at $36, almost on the dot, and the Equinox here is at $37.5. So a little bit more expensive here for the Equinox. Now, I will sprinkle in some of my personal experience with these vehicles. I owned a Crosstrek for a long time, so I'm pretty familiar with it. But this is more of just kind of letting you guys know which features are available on which model, and maybe that helps your decision a little bit if you're comparing these two specific models. So let's start up front on both of the models. They're both equipped with LED headlights and fog lights, although they're a little different. Over on the Crosstrek, you've got LED fog lights, and your system over on the Crosstrek is a full suite LED daytime running lights, LED high beams, LED main beams, and their steering responsive headlights. Over on the Equinox here, you have the same thing. You've got LED daytime running lights, LED main beams here, fogs down here, but just their layout is a little bit different. You can see the Crosstrek's is a little bit more three-dimensional with this little protrusion bit here, and then the fog light down here. Same split with the fog light down here on the Equinox, but you've got your beams split here, so they're not all integrated in one seamless unit. Chrome splitter runs between the two, so you get this really low profile running light here, and then your main beams down here. So just a little bit of a different design there. And on Chevys, when you go with a Premier trim, you're gonna get a lot of chrome. That's like their high end. It's not really my favorite look, but you do have a lot of chrome on the front grille here of this Equinox. This splitter here, and then this kind of chrome bit that runs down the front grille here. Pretty simple grille with this gold Chevy bow tie, body colored split, and then your air intakes at the bottom, some parking sensors. Over on the Crosstrek, since it's a little more rugged, you get a lot of plastic cladding. You get a nice kind of dark gray front grille here with the big Subaru badge, a body colored split, and then air intakes here with a lot of that traditional Subaru plastic cladding. And I'm not noticing any parking sensors on the front of this Crosstrek either. Another thing you won't see on the Crosstrek is a front-facing camera, but you do have that over on the Equinox, which has the HD surround vision system on it. The Crosstrek here does not have a 360-degree system at all. Now, under the hood, you're going to have two very different engine options. Over on the Equinox, you have a 1.5-liter turbocharged engine, 175 horsepower and 203 pound-feet of torque, 31 miles per gallon highway, 26 miles per gallon city. Over on the Crosstrek here, you're going to have a 2.5-liter boxer engine. This is going to give you 182 horsepower, 178 pound-feet of torque, 33 miles per gallon highway, 26 miles per gallon city. So two estimated additional miles per gallon highway over on the Crosstrek with the beefier 2.5-liter engine. The only thing we're not going to cover in this video are test drives, but I have individual reviews of both the 2024 Crosstrek and the 2024 Equinox, full reviews with test drives that you can check out. I'll have them linked below and in the card above. Now, both models sit on 18-inch alloy wheels. You've got a two-tone aluminum alloy wheel over here on the Crosstrek with this nice kind of throwing star Beyblade type design. I think it looks really nice. Then you have more of a simplified, elegant look here on the Premier Equinox, just with this chrome. It kind of has a little bit of a two-tone bit, but it's like a light gray and then a slightly darker gray. So you could call it two-tone if you want, but it's a little bit more simplified than what we have here on the Crosstrek. So same wheel size, but what you'll notice is you have a lot more cladding here on the Crosstrek with these little passive vents here on the sides, but really big bolstered cladding, whereas you have nothing like that over here on the Equinox. Just a little reflector and a parking sensor, but no plastic cladding at all. The sheet metal just goes all the way up to the wheel well. Equinox badging along the sides, no badging like that on the Crosstrek here on the side. You do have keyless access on both models. It functions a little bit differently. Over on the Crosstrek, it's a little pad you can just push, and then you can put your hand inside the door to unlock it. Over on the Equinox, you have a button, a little keyless access button that you push to lock, push again to unlock. Now, over here on the Equinox, you have manual folding body-colored side mirrors. They do have integrated turn signals, blind spot monitoring built in, and then you have your little camera up underneath that works with your 360-degree surround vision system. Over on the Crosstrek here, you have these gray side mirrors, so they kind of contrast with the ice silver metallic that we have here as the paint color, but they do have integrated turn signals. They're manual folding as well, blind spot monitoring built in. They're heated. They do not have any kind of camera system up underneath because you don't have that over on the Crosstrek. Now, what you do have on the Crosstrek here are these raised roof rails with these adjustable crossbars here that we've optioned on. Over on the Equinox, you do have raised roof rails still, but you do not have crossbars set on here, I'm sure you can get one. Just this one doesn't have one optioned on, but these are chrome roof rails over here on the Equinox to match that kind of Premier styling, whereas you have black roof rails over here on the Crosstrek. Also over on the Crosstrek, you have a single pane tilting and sliding sunroof. Over here on the Equinox, you have a panoramic tilting and sliding sunroof. And of course, on all Subarus, you're gonna have your EyeSight driver assist system, and this is gonna be loaded up with all kinds of industry-leading safety features, so that's a huge plus for the Crosstrek. Over on the Equinox, you still have a plethora of awesome safety features, but you just don't have that award-winning EyeSight system that Subaru is famous for. You've got more kind of similar skirting with this extra cladding down up underneath that is just plastic on both models, so that's nice to see. And then you've got chrome trim that runs around the windows here on the Equinox Premier, whereas we have black trim on the Crosstrek Limited. All right, so moving to the tailgates of both of these vehicles, you'll notice there's some similarities and some differences. We'll start up here on the top. You'll notice you have a little bit of a spoiler here to keep stuff off your back windshield. You have the same over here on the Crosstrek, but you'll notice that the Crosstrek's back windshield juts out a lot more than the Equinox's does. The Equinox has a little bit more of a compressed back end, whereas the Crosstrek one kind of juts out quite a bit here. You also have some pretty aggressively styled tail lamps here on the Crosstrek, whereas they're a little bit more minimal and simple here on the Equinox. These are LED tail lights on the Equinox, not the case over here on the Crosstrek. You've got some reflectors down here on both models, a little bit of a different look to them. And then the Crosstrek has a lot more of this black cladding and this little diffuser down at the bottom, whereas the Equinox has a more simplified diffuser, but the same kind of black cladding down here with a little chrome accent and some parking sensors. You also have parking sensors on the back of the Crosstrek as well. Tinted rear glass on both, rear wiper on both. You've got your main badging on both in the same place. Of course, you've got rear view cameras on both. You have to have that. On the Crosstrek here, you have this little bumper applique that has some nice nature elements, mountains and trees and waves and things. Over on the Equinox, you do not have that. But one thing the Equinox does have that gives it a leg up over the Crosstrek is a hands-free power liftgate. So this has the rear logo projection where it shines the Chevy logo on the ground and shows you where to kick your leg, but we can just show off here, power liftgate. On the Crosstrek, nothing. You gotta lift it up. No power option available at all on the Crosstrek, but here on the Equinox Premier, you have it. So you've got a cargo shade in the back here, a cargo net. You have your all-weather mats back here, as well as your cloth mats. Here in the Equinox, you don't have that, but you've got a nice floor liner here. You've got a spare tire up underneath the Crosstrek as well. On the Crosstrek, you have to pop the seats down manually, actually with the little knob on the seats. Here on the Equinox, you've got little levers here that you can pull to drop the second row seats. And I'll have all the cargo dimensions on screen for you so you can see a comparison between the two. You are going to get more storage space on the Equinox. So if that's a huge deciding factor, point to the Equinox. With the rear seats up, you get about 30 on the Equinox, about 20 on the Crosstrek. And if you fold the second row seats down, you get about 64 cubic feet on the Equinox versus about 55 on the Crosstrek. So something to keep in mind. But let's go ahead and shut these gates on up and hop inside. All right, so first we're inside the cabin of the Equinox here. Now, like I said, I've done full reviews on both the Equinox and the Crosstrek over there, so we're not gonna really do kind of an in-depth dive on everything. I'm just gonna give you the highlights of what you have inside the cabin so you can compare and contrast between these two vehicles. So as far as cabin materials go, the Equinox has a leather-wrapped steering wheel, hard-touch plastic across the top, rubber across the top of the dash, and then you have a little bit of a fabric accent with some perforations and some kind of gold or brown accent stitching on it. And then everything from like knees down is hard touch plastic. You have a little bit of a rubber wrap around the shift knob as well. And the Equinox does have that 6-speed automatic transmission, whereas the Crosstrek has a Lineartronic CVT. You got power adjustable mirrors here. You have automatic windows only on the driver's window. You've got position memory for your seats as well as an easy open feature. You've got your automatic headlights here. Like I said, leather wrapped steering wheel that is heated. You've got your adaptive cruise control with your lane keeping as well. Lights, wiper controls behind. As far as the gauge cluster goes, you have 2 standard analog gauges and then a tiny little driver information cluster in the center. A 7 or optional 8-inch infotainment display like this one has right here. You do have a push to start engine, dual zone automatic climate control here, and you've got heated and ventilated driver and passenger seat, as well as heated rear seats. 1 USB-C port, 1 USB-A port, a 3.5mm aux jack, a 12-volt outlet, and a Qi-enabled wireless charging pad. You've got park assist features here, an electronic parking brake, 2 cup holders, a nice large center console with a little tray, an LED light, and 2 more USB-A ports. Auto dimming rear view mirror, but it's pretty minimal, kind of chunky and small. Like I said, you've got that panoramic tilting and sliding sunroof, which just makes the cabin so much brighter and airier, and it looks awesome. Now, as far as the seating surfaces in the Equinox, you've got these leather appointed seats with these perforations down the center, and more of that gold or brown accent stitching around the seating surfaces. They're decently comfortable over here on the Equinox. The driver is an 8-way power adjustable seat with 2-way lumbar support and position memory. The passenger seat is also power adjustable with lumbar support. And you do have home-lit garage door controls up top, your sunroof controls, LED dome lights, little sunglass holder, as well as a Bose 7-speaker premium audio system here on the Equinox. Now, the display over here on the 2024 Equinox is nowhere near the size of the 11.6-inch one over on the Crosstrek. And while the Equinox doesn't have the size, I think it is a little bit more usable than the one that Subaru has. This has all the same stuff, built-in navigation, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You've got your camera menu that's going to give you all of your different 360-degree camera views, your trailering options, Sirius XM radio. You've got My Chevrolet apps. You can remote start and all that kind of stuff. AM, FM, Sirius XM, Bluetooth. All the functionality is here, and I just think it's a little bit more responsive than the one we have over on the Crosstrek. And if the size of the screen is really important to you, wait a year. We've already gotten confirmation of the redesigned 2025 Chevy Equinox, and it's going to have the much larger Google built-in infotainment screens. So if you're really worried about the size of the screen and you want larger displays, just wait one more year and then pick up the 2025 Equinox, and I'll be making a review of that the second we get one on the lot. But let's hop over to the Crosstrek. All right, so hopping into the Crosstrek here. Now again, I think the thing that's gonna stand out the most is the elephant in the room between the two vehicles, and that is just this massive 11.6-inch screen. Don't let the larger screen fool you into thinking it's necessarily a better system. Some people might prefer the Starlink system versus the Chevy system, but I really think you need to use both of them in a situation that you would normally use them in to see the difference. And I think this Starlink system could get a lot better. It's just a little bit laggy and slow, so that has always kind of put me off to Subaru's new systems. Their older systems worked great. It's just this one that doesn't work that well for some reason. But again, we're just going to be hitting the highlights here, talking about what's different between the two cabins. So we've looked at the Equinox cabin. So what is different over here? Well, you have a leather-wrapped steering wheel, so that's the same. As far as the cabin materials go, I think this is a little bit of a step up from the Equinox. Maybe it's just personal preference, but you have a nice kind of gray leather material here on the side with some orange accent stitching, and then this faux carbon fiber that runs around the entirety of the cabin. Even though it's not real carbon fiber, I think it kind of just takes it up a notch as far as looks go. You have the same kind of soft touch rubber up top, and then a little bit of a gray textured bit above the glove box here. And that works its way all across the dash here. But then again, everything knees down is basically the same hard touch plastic. Although around the center console here, you do have some more nice, smooth gray plastic, which I think looks actually pretty nice. It doesn't look as cheap as some of the other materials I've seen on this price point. You do have another rubber wrapped shift knob here, but you have a little bit of a leather at the bottom with some accent stitching, kind of more glossy black plastic around the center console area, which is not my favorite, but you do have a lot of similar features between these two models. As far as the windows go, you have automatic windows for driver and passenger, so one extra automatic window over here on the Crosstrek. You do have power adjustable mirrors the same way, no position memory. You do have a leather wrapped steering wheel here, but this one is not heated like it is over on the Equinox. You do still have adaptive cruise control with lane centering, which is awesome. You've got your SI drive features here. You've got your paddle shifters for your 8-speed manual mode, all your media controls on the left side, and then a similar gauge layout with the 2 analog gauges and then the 1 little driver information cluster in the center. But this one, I don't know if it's actually larger or if it's different orientation. It might be about the same size, but it's vertical instead of horizontal. We see that theme a lot here in the Crosstrek versus the Equinox. You do have a nice big auto dimming rear view mirror with a compass and home-lit garage door controls. Same controls, but a nice chunky thick boy mirror versus the kind of dinky one over there. Then you've got your sunroof controls up top here, LED dome lights, which are the same. All these controls up here are about the same. You do have a push to start button, which is the same. But like I said, you've got this giant 11.6-inch infotainment system, and it has a lot of the same functionality. You've got wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. You've got Wi-Fi hotspot built in, Sirius XM, AM, FM, Bluetooth. You've got your backup camera built in. You've got navigation as well. Just the way it functions isn't as smooth over here on the Crosstrek as it is over on the Equinox, in my opinion. You all might disagree. You all might prefer this system. Just giving you my 2 cents there in using the two systems quite a bit. You do also have a lot more on-screen climate here on the Crosstrek, although you do have a couple hardware buttons on the side. Moving on down, you have this Qi-enabled wireless charging pad, which can be turned on or off. If you guys want to see more hidden features on either of these, I've made secret features video for the Crosstrek and the Equinox if you want to learn everything there is to know about how all these things work. But we've got a 3.5mm jack, which is the same, one USB-C port, which is the same between both, and one USB-A port, which is the same between the both. Like I said, your Lineartronic CVT shift knob is right here, electronic parking brake on both, which is great. You've got heated driver and passenger seats, but not ventilated, so that's one leg up to the Equinox. And then you have your 12-volt outlet back here with your 2 cup holders, and then a nice deep center console here on the Crosstrek as well, although it's not quite as large as the one over on the Equinox. And then of course your EyeSight driver assist cameras up here. And then you do have a Harman Kardon audio system here on the Crosstrek versus the Bose system over on the Equinox. So you really just have to listen to them and take your pick. It's going to be preference. Now, as far as these seats on the Crosstrek, these are again a leather appointed seat with these perforations down the center with this really nice orange contrast stitching and this little color backing behind the perforations here on the seats as well. I think it looks really, really nice. The driver is a 10-way power adjustable seat with 2-way lumbar. So Equinox is an 8-way with 2-way lumbar. This is a 10-way with 2-way lumbar. So little edge up to the Crosstrek, although this does not have position memory like you do have over on the Equinox. But then the passenger seat is just a manually adjustable seat, which it's power adjustable over on the Equinox. So, and then hopping into the back seats here of the Equinox, again, having that panoramic sunroof come all the way back just makes the cabin feel a lot brighter and airier for your back seat passengers. Another thing, you got a ton of legroom here in the Equinox. I had my seat in a decently comfortable position. This might be a little bit more up than I normally keep it, but I still have like 5 to 6 inches of rear legroom back here. It's plenty, and you can tuck your feet up underneath. And these seats actually do recline a little bit, so this is like the upright seating position, but if you grab the handle and push back, you get a tiny bit of recline just to add a little bit more comfort if you're a little bit taller of a passenger. You've got grab handles here, speakers. These rear glass seems to be a little bit tinted. You've got map pockets in both driver and passenger. Rear vents, which is awesome to have. 2-way heated seats back here, so you've got just your back or your back and your butt if you want to. 2 USB-A ports, and then you have a full-size outlet back here as well, which is awesome. If you fold this center console down, you get a nice armrest and 2 more cup holders. It's a little bit squatty, but you know, it's effective. And I'll have all interior dimensions on the screen for you so you can directly compare the two. Let's hop over to the Crosstrek. And finally, hopping into the back seat of the Crosstrek here, I think a couple things are going to stand out between the Crosstrek and the Equinox. One is not having that panoramic roof makes the cabin feel a little bit more enclosed. It's not as bright and airy. So that's a big thing I notice. You have, similar grab handles and similar materials on the door with the leather. You do not have a map pocket on the driver's seat, but you do have a small one over on the passenger seat. And I think overall, just a little bit less noticeable legroom and a little bit less noticeable headroom, even though there is a nice arc in the roof here. So just a little bit more compact back seats here in the Crosstrek. You do have one more USB-C port, one more USB-A port back here, but no heated seats on this one. You can fold this center armrest down. It's a nice big armrest, so more comfortable than the Equinox, but 2 cup holders just the same. And unfortunately, you can't recline these Crosstrek seats like you can with the Equinox seats. A little bit less comfortable there, but overall, the Crosstrek still has a surprising amount of back seat volume. And again, I'll have all interior dimensions on screen so you can directly compare and contrast the sizes of the cabins. But again, it's one of those things you really kind of have to sit in each of them to really feel which would work best for you and your family. Another thing I think it's important to compare are the safety features and limited warranty that you get on these different vehicles. So starting on the Crosstrek, as far as the safety systems go, of course you have the EyeSight driver assist system. You're going to have advanced adaptive cruise control with lane centering, automatic emergency steering, blind spot detection with rear cross traffic alert, reverse automatic braking, Subaru's advanced frontal airbag system, side curtain airbags with rollover sensors, front seat side airbags, front passenger seat cushion airbags, collision detection power door unlock, vehicle dynamics control, 4-wheel disc brakes, brake assist, and rear seat reminders. Additionally, you do have dual function X mode with hill descent control on the Crosstrek. And then as far as the warranty goes on the Crosstrek, you have a 3-year 36,000 mile basic warranty, a 5-year 60,000 mile powertrain warranty, a 5-year unlimited mileage rust perforation warranty, and 3 years 36,000 miles 24/7 roadside assistance. Now, if we move on over to the Equinox, as far as the safety systems go, you have Chevy Safety Assist, which includes automatic emergency emergency braking, forward lane collision alert, lane keep assist with lane departure warning, following distance indicator, front pedestrian braking, IntelliBeam auto high beams. Then you have your teen driver mode, a tire pressure monitor, safety alert seat, a theft deterrent system, rear cross traffic alert with lane change alert, HD surround vision, automatic parking assist, adaptive cruise control, and side blind zone alert. And then as far as the warranty goes, you have a 3-year, 36,000-mile bumper-to-bumper limited warranty and a 5-year, 60,000-mile powertrain limited warranty with roadside assistance and courtesy transportation. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Drop a like in the video if it was helpful. Let me know down in the comments below, which was your favorite? Do you prefer the Crosstrek or the Equinox? Let's have a conversation down in the comments. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button to be among the first to see every single new video the second I hit publish. We'll see you in the next one.